Imagine being able to learn a language completely on your own, fast, without classes, without tutors, and without having to study grammar, using only your own personalized materials and doing speaking practice at home. A few years ago, this was impossible. But now, thanks to AI, you can do it. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how. Mă numesc Mikel HYPERPOLYGLOT. Vorbesc 12 limbi și am dezvoltat un sistem rapid și eficient de învățare a limbilor străine la Centrul de Inovare al Universității din Deusto, aici în San Sebastian. Am deja ajutat mii de oameni să învețe limbi străine rapid, fără să pierdă timp. And let me tell you something. Learning a language is actually rather simple. You only need to do 3 things. You need to learn a lot of words and useful sentences you're actually going to use. You also need massive amounts of listening practice with the right sentences, those sentences you want to be able to say. And of course, you also need to do a lot of speaking practice. And you need to do it the right way. And that's basically it. Forget everything else. Forget grammar books, forget endless exercises, gamified apps, thousands of hours of so-called comprehensible input with YouTube. Forget all of that. Because you want to learn the language to be able to understand native speakers and to have conversations, right? So then those are the only things that matter. Learning a lot of useful sentences, doing a lot of listening practice, and doing a lot of speaking practice, the right way. It's relatively straightforward, isn't it? But how exactly should you do it? Well, the first thing you need are the right sentences. You need thousands of them. You need to learn all the sentences you want to be able to say in real conversations. And later, you should also learn entire paragraphs. I call these language islands. And you should also learn sentences that contain all the common words and all the common grammar in the language, so that you can learn it in context. If you learn enough of these sentences, you won't need to study grammar ever again. You just learn it in context. Exactly the same way as you learned your native language. And this is also how you learn vocabulary the right way, in context. And learning vocabulary is extremely important. You need to learn more words and you need to learn them faster. Most people fail because they think too small when learning a language. They think that learning 1 or 2 words a day is enough. And at that rate, you'll stay stuck at the beginner level forever. You need to learn thousands of words, and you need to learn them fast. Otherwise, you will not be able to understand or speak the language. So you need to start thinking big. 30 words a day, 50 words a day, 100 words a day, and yes, it's doable if you do it right. So the first thing you need to do is to start learning a lot of useful words and sentences every single day. You can use my app for this if you want. Link in the description. Take all those lists of the most common words inside example sentences and start drilling them. Remember, always learn words inside example sentences. This is really important because unless you use mnemonics, learning a word in isolation is not very effective. That's a weak memory. But if you learn the words inside sentences instead, it's going to be much more effective. You review those sentences 10 times and you will already recognize the words. And if you review them 20 or 30 times, you will remember them and you'll be able to use them actively. And you'll be able to use the complete sentences, not just the words, but also the grammar done right, without having to study the rules. This means learning 100 new words a day equals 100 sentences a day. And reviewing each sentence 20 or 30 times means just 2 to 3 hours of practice per day, because you can review over 1,000 sentences easily per hour. And because you can listen to them while commuting, driving, going for walks, working out, and a bunch of other things, you can very easily get those 20 or 30 reps with a whole list of 100 sentences. And if you do this every day, with all the common words in the language, especially verbs and adjectives, you'll very quickly be able to understand 90 or 95% of the language. This is infinitely more effective at making you fluent than so-called comprehensible input with YouTube videos. So you take those sentences and you start reviewing them. You read them, you listen to them, you repeat them out loud, and you do active recall with them over and over again. You do enough reps of this with enough sentences that are useful, and you'll be able to have basic conversations. You'll be conversational in the language. And this is already more than what 99% of language learners will ever achieve. But of course, if you want to be fluent, this is not enough. You also need speaking practice. And if you've got native speakers to talk to, go do that, that's great. Start speaking from day one. But the more you practice on your own, the better. And especially if you're afraid of speaking to native speakers at first, and this happens to a lot of people, then you should practice speaking on your own. And the easiest way to do this is by talking to AI. Because AI is a game changer in language learning. You can build your language islands, entire paragraphs of everything you want to be able to say in the language, translate them into the target language, and learn the exact things you want to be able to say in the language. Again, lots of repetition. Listen to them over and over again, read them out loud, do shadowing with them, and keep practicing until you can say them right. And eventually, you can start doing freestyle speaking practice. Once you know enough sentences and enough paragraphs, you just try to speak to AI. And you'll make mistakes, you'll get feedback, and you can try again. And the more you do it, the easier it will get, the fewer mistakes you'll make, and the more confident you'll get. And if you do enough of this exercise, speaking to native speakers will be a piece of cake. And the best part of it is that you can do it anytime, anywhere. You don't need a human teacher, you don't need to be in a classroom. You can just take your phone and start speaking. You can either talk to AI in your own language and get a translated transcript of everything you say, so you can then learn all those texts in the target language, or you can talk directly to AI, so you can do speaking practice and at the same time create more language islands, more personalized paragraphs to learn later on. So you're not only getting lots of speaking practice, as much as you want, because you can speak to AI all day, but you're also generating lots and lots of personalized sentences. Your list of personalized learning materials keeps growing, and you will soon have a massive library of personalized learning materials. Everything you normally say in conversations, all the things you talk about, and you just have to review those until you can say them well. This is the fastest way to get fluent in any language in 2026. And now you know what you need to do. So stop wasting your time with slow methods like so-called comprehensible inputs and gamified apps and things like that, and start learning the right way. Learn your own sentences, do lots of repetition, and start talking to AI. It's really that simple, and it's extremely effective. If you want to take language learning seriously and start getting results, the link is in the description.